Hi there, homespun friends. It is Sherry. I have been babysitting this morning, babysitting some of my grandchildren, and they just left. And so I'm looking a little bit askew today, just from having been at home, been on the floor playing with them and having fun. But I didn't want to let another opportunity pass without talking to you and sharing with you about Ruth. We have been going through the book of Ruth, and we have talked about 2 chapters in Ruth, and now we have come to the point in chapter 3 where God is getting ready to enact the plan to bring a path for Ruth to find favor and to be restored by her kinsman redeemer. And so let's pick up where we left off at Ruth 3. Now we know her mother-in-law Naomi has been giving Ruth instructions on how she should gather grain and provide food for them. And so now she tells her daughter-in-law Ruth, "My daughter, it's time that I found a permanent home for you so that you will be provided for in the future. Boaz is a close relative of ours, and he's been very kind by letting you gather grain with his young women. So tonight he will be winnowing the barley at the threshing floor. And I want you to do just what I tell you to do. Take a bath, put on perfume, and dress up in your nicest clothes." Now, I had to chuckle when I saw this because Naomi is giving Ruth some very good instructions, knowing that, she's going to be clean, she's going to smell good, she's going to look good, and put forth her best effort. And I think many times in life we think, I don't want to base everything on appearances, and that's good. But at the same time, when we're dealing in our love lives and even with our husbands that we have been married to for many years, we want to do our best to put our best foot forward and not always just going around looking frumpy and our PJs and our hair all crazy. And, we just want to have days when we dress up just for them and give our best appearance. And not only outwardly, but inwardly, but even outwardly, it's okay to want to try to make the best of what you have with your appearance. And this is what Naomi has instructed Ruth to do. And she continues to tell her, "After you do this, go down to the threshing floor, but don't let Boaz see you right away. Wait until he's finished eating and drinking. Be sure you notice where he lies down, and then go there and uncover his feet and lie down at his feet, and he will tell you what to do." "I will do everything just like you've told me to do," Ruth replied. So she went down to the threshing floor that night, and she followed Naomi's instructions. And so she waited until she saw him finish working, and she saw him then go over and lie down in the corner on the other side of the grain, and she slipped in very quietly. And she lay down at his feet, and then she uncovered the blanket off of his feet, which was a sign. And that day, people knew what that meant. When a woman lay at your feet and uncovered your feet, she was seeking for you to be a kinsman redeemer for her. So around midnight, Boaz suddenly woke up, and he turned over and was surprised to find a woman in the dark there lying at his feet. And he said, "Who are you?" And she said, "I am your servant Ruth. Spread the corner of your covering over me, because you are my family redeemer." She's telling him, the cover that I have turned back, turn that over me. And when you do that, that's a symbol to me that you're willing to be my family redeemer. "The Lord bless you, my daughter," Boaz exclaimed. "You're showing even more family loyalty now than you did before. For you have not gone after a younger man, whether he be rich or poor." So Boaz was, we know from this, an older man. And he is telling her, you have not gone after someone younger, whether they have money or not. But you have chosen to seek me at my age to be your kinsman redeemer. And what honor you have shown me, and how loyal you are to your family, to your husband's family, to your father-in-law and your mother-in-law. He says, "Don't you worry about a thing, my daughter. I will do what is necessary, for everyone in town knows that you are a virtuous woman." So all of a sudden we begin to find out in chapter 3 that Ruth now has a reputation for herself. By being faithful to her mother-in-law, by working hard, and not causing a problem for anyone, and being humble in her spirit, she has gained a reputation that even though she is Ruth the Moabite, she is virtuous. She's virtuous. And what a blessing it is for all women when we are called virtuous, when we have humility, when we have grace, when we exercise kindness, when we are loyal to our family members, when we work hard and do the best we can for our families. Honor God. We are virtuous. And so she has followed her mother-in-law's instructions, and Boaz is now telling her, everyone in this town knows who you are, and they know that you are a virtuous woman. I'm going to take care of this, he says, and I'm going to do it right away. He says, while it's true that I am your family redeemer, there is one person that is ahead of me in the line, in the family line, to be your redeemer. And so I'm going to have to go and talk to him in the morning. If he's willing to redeem you, then he is allowed to, and he will marry you. But if he's not willing to be your family redeemer, then surely as the Lord lives, I will do it. I will redeem you. Now lie down here until morning. And so Ruth lay down at Boaz's feet. There was nothing inappropriate about this. There was nothing that went on in any improper way. She simply lay at his feet because it was nighttime. It was in the middle of the night. And he said, we must get up in the morning now before others rise, because we don't want them to find you here and to get the wrong idea. And so Boaz said, no one must know that there was a woman here at the threshing floor. So he told her, we'll get up early in the morning. So before dawn, they arise, and he tells her before she leaves, come and bring your cloak. And so she takes off her cloak and she spreads it out on the floor. And he says, I'm going to measure 6 scoops of barley into your cloak and put it on your back. And I want you to take this home to your mother-in-law, because I can't send you away empty-handed. So she returned to town. And when Ruth went back to Naomi, she said, what happened, Ruth? What happened? And she says, this is what happened. I lay down like you told me. Boaz woke up and saw me. And she begins to recount the story fully for Naomi. She said, he gave me these 6 scoops of barley for you and said, don't go back to your mother-in-law empty-handed. And so then Naomi knew. Naomi knew. She said, just be patient like he told you to be until we hear what happens. This man will not rest until this is settled today. So she knew that Boaz was going to take care of it right then. Now this completes chapter 3. It's a short chapter, and so we're going to close there. But when you come back next time, we will talk about chapter 4. That is the last chapter in the book of Ruth. Ruth is a very short book in the Bible, but it is fully impacted by great material of all kinds. And so I want to talk to you. Next chapter will be the best one I think that we can talk about as we begin to see what God has done in the life of Ruth and Naomi. And then we will talk a little bit more about someone else who is a kinsman redeemer. Someone else who is a kinsman redeemer for us, for you and for me. Thank you for spending time with me today, friends, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.